Hey everyone, welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host, my name is Victoria Daisy, and today is another bonus episode. We are going to be going through the Royal Rumble card. I'm going to be sharing my predictions, sharing a preview of it with you guys. I am so freaking excited. If you guys know me, then you know the Royal Rumble is my all-time favorite PLE. In my opinion, it's better than WrestleMania. Maybe that's a hot take, maybe that's not. But before we dive in, don't forget to follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. But let's get right in. So, there are only 4 matches announced, which is kind of cuckoo to me. Kind of crazy. It's the 2 Rumbles and then 2 matches. So, the Rumble is going to be interesting for that specific reason, because usually they have like 4 matches besides the 2 Rumbles. So that means they're really putting emphasis on the 2 Rumbles. But you know what? Let's stop talking and let's dive deep into Rumble number 1. Let's talk about the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, a lot can happen with this Rumble. Okay, a lot can and will happen with this Rumble. There's a lot of people out and about, aka injured, aka waiting for a return, that I think we will and should see in this Rumble. Now, let's go through some of the returns. You guys know I always take notes, so I have a list of notes. And let's start about talking about the returns that could possibly happen of people already in the WWE. So obviously number 1 is one that's already announced but has yet to happen, and that is Charlotte Flair. If you guys have been following along my SmackDown episodes week to week, then you know that I went from being angry that they announced it to being happy, and now I kind of just feel like meh about it. I feel neutral, and I don't know, I'm very excited. Obviously we already know she's returning, so like I'm excited about that. Next, we have Becky Lynch. Now, with Becky and the person after her that I'm going to speak on, they're in a similar situation. And the next person I'm speaking on is Alexa Bliss. I think both of them are kind of in the same boat in a way. You know, they both are hardworking moms that have devoted time off to be with their kid. And I love that for them. So I don't know if either of them are going or in the place to return. I know Alexa specifically has been posting for a while that she's been training again, and she had posted that she is back at the weight she was before she had her baby. So she's like definitely super in shape, which is good to know. And she's kind of teased certain things like, oh, should I dye my hair pink, or should I, all these different Alexa things, you know? And so it's got me wondering if she's going to actually return. I mean, it's something we've wanted to see for a very long time. Reports were saying that there were plans for her, and then there weren't plans for her. And whether she's going to be at the White Six or not, I don't think there will be. I did see a report that the reason the White Six aren't on TV is because I think like 1 or 2 of them are injured or out for personal reasons. So I don't think she'll have anything to do with them. I think she'll have her own run on SmackDown or Raw. I hope she goes to SmackDown if she does return, because SmackDown needs more women. And then with Becky, it's, you know, she's been doing her own thing. You know, she wrote a book. She's been just doing her own stuff, which I love. But I don't know if she has plans to return. I would love to see her to return. I would love to see Alexa return. And then the last person that I have written down is Nikki Bella. This is something that came sort of out of nowhere, and that all started Raw on Netflix. So obviously, for those who don't know, or for those who do know, last year at WrestleMania 40, the Bella Twins were invited to the entire weekend. They were invited to the Hall of Fame. They were invited to both nights of WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown, like all that stuff. And then suddenly they got uninvited. Now, I do not know the details of why that was, but the Bella Twins got super salty online, and they did a live stream. I remember it was the night before WrestleMania night number 1. So I think it might have been during the Hall of Fame or something like that. They live streamed and was talking crap about WWE. And that's obviously not cool. You don't do that. But then Nikki Bella showed up at Raw on Netflix. She was at the premiere, and everyone was stunned and gagged, including myself. If you guys watched my watch along, I did a live stream on YouTube during Raw on Netflix's debut, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs when I saw that she was there. So obviously they've made amends, and you know, everything that's gone on in her personal life, I give my condolences to her. Definitely not easy at all. So very sorry for her loss. But you know, she's in a better place now with WWE, thank God. Now, Brie Bella is a different story. You know, obviously her husband, Bryan Danielson, was with AEW, and I just don't think she has any desire to be in the ring. But Nikki Bella, on the other hand, I think she might. So one thing that is like the key proponent to this theory, if you will, is the fact that one of the interviewers, you could say, on the red carpet at the Raw Netflix debut asked her if she has any plans on getting in the ring. And she said, well, you know, I might just be here to look at my next opponent, my next challenger. And I was like, hello? Wow. She could have been joking and teasing, and then maybe that turned into something, or maybe it didn't and nothing is going to happen, but maybe that was her teasing us. I don't know. When I was younger, before Sasha Banks came into the picture, because you guys know that Mercedes is my queen for life, Nikki Bella was my queen. Okay. Her, Paige, AJ Lee, which we will get to AJ in 1 second. Especially Nikki, was like my queen. Okay. I was a part of the Bella Army. I had my Fearless hat that does not fit me anymore. Rest in peace. It was a child hat, a kid's hat. And, it was just, she was everything to me at that time. And so I would love nothing more for her to have her own little farewell tour. Oh my God. Could you imagine her and John Cena having their parallel farewell tours at the same time? X's and O's. Oh my God, that'd be crazy. But moving along into the final person in the like returns that's already kind of been in the company category is AJ Lee. Now, we clown this every year, but this year feels a little different, unless that's just my delusion once again. So CM Punk was seen in an Instagram video recorded by Jackie Redmond, who is a interviewer with WWE, right? And she basically said, you know, who's somebody you want to see in the Women's Royal Rumble? And she was asking different people if she had asked Punk, and Punk was like, I don't remember verbatim what he said, but he said something along the lines of like, oh, I can't say her name, but you all know who it is. She's got to come back soon, all this stuff. And obviously he's talking about AJ, his wife. And I'm sorry, why are you teasing us that hard the week before the Rumble? That was so uncalled for and so foul. I cannot even. That was really insane. I really couldn't handle that at all. And, you know, she's made it kind of clear that she just doesn't want to come back to wrestling, which very much hurts my heart and hurts everyone else's heart. She was the first diva that I ever got into. That was like one of my favorites growing up and when I was younger. And, you know, it would just be the best. I mean, it's been 10 years, I think, to the day, not today, but like in this month, that she had her last match. And I would love for her to come back, you know, come back at the Rumble, maybe run a tiny little program. And then, you know what? SummerSlam is in New Jersey, which is where she's from. So like, you see what I'm saying? What if we had CM Punk and AJ Lee in a mixed tag match versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins? Could you imagine? I would be deceased. Anyways, moving on into NXT appearances and call-ups. Some people might be called up, some people might just be appearances, but the first person that I'm pretty sure is going to be there, but actually, now that I've been watching NXT, maybe I'm like, maybe they won't show up, and that's Roxanne Perez. She showed up originally at the Royal Rumble 2 years ago in San Antonio because she's from Laredo, Texas, which isn't too far from San Antonio, and so she had her appearance. Was she NXT champion then? I don't think so. Whatever. She didn't show up last year, but I'm pretty sure she will. But then also it looks like she's staying in NXT for a while. So I don't really know. And then moving right along, I feel like if you had to pick one person to represent NXT, it has to be your champion, your NXT Women's Champion, Julia. I think she is such a perfect person to have in this Rumble to showcase what NXT has to offer. And also, you know, she's a champ. So what better person? And right alongside her is the number one contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship. And that is Stephanie Vaquer. I think oh my God, her and Julia in the Women's Royal Rumble would be absolutely insane. I think that would be so good. I don't really care too much for Roxanne. You guys know I don't like her, but obviously I only say her name because she's probably like one of the main people. So I would really love to see Stephanie and Julia in the Women's Royal Rumble. And then finally on the Women's Rumble, before I get to who I'm actually predicting to win, We're going to talk about TNA. Obviously, we know a few weeks ago, WWE and TNA announced a multi-year partnership deal that will span for a while, which basically entails that people from both TNA and WWE can cross over, specifically NXT. But like last year, we know what happened. We know what happened when Jordynne Grace, the former TNA Knockouts champion, entered the Women's Royal Rumble. I was there. I heard it live, and I was freaking out. And speaking of Jordynne Grace, I think that she might be there. You know, something that I find kind of interesting is somebody, I think it was WrestleOps on Twitter, tweeted, they were like, 100% I believe Jordynne Grace is going to be at the Royal Rumble. And she quoted that tweet, and she was like, no, I'm actually going to be with my mom for the weekend, but love you guys though. And she posted a picture of her flight ticket and crossed out information. But to me, it looked like the most Google generic picture you could find. I did not believe any of it for 1 second. So I do think she's going to be there, and I think she's trying to trick us. I mean, she was there last year. What's going to stop her again from going this year? And when it comes to champions and representing, I would love to see the current TNA Knockouts champion, which is Masha Slamovic. Slamovich. I don't know how you say it. Slamovic, whatever. She was at NXT a couple weeks ago, keeping an eye on Cora Jade, and then obviously that sparked something with Cora over in TNA. And so there's a lot of crossing storylines, which I really like, and I would love to see Masha in the Women's Royal Rumble. I'd love to see her face to face with some of the current superstars that are already on main roster. I don't know. I think it'd be really fun and interesting. Now, let's talk about who I'm predicting to win this whole thing. This is kind of hard, okay? Because I think the obvious answer is Charlotte Flair. Oh my god, I'm so slow. You know who I totally forgot to say? Jade Cargill. Am I stupid? Oh my god, I totally forgot to say Jade Cargill. Okay, yeah. Fully backtracking to my returns on main roster. Jade Cargill. If you guys saw my SmackDown episode a couple weeks ago, I said that I needed Bianca and Naomi to already be in the Rumble when Jade comes out, so that Bianca has a moment where she's like, oh my god, I thought I took you out. What are you doing here? I don't know. And then like, we get a storyline? I don't know. That's what I need. But yes, Jade Cargill needs to return. Now, when it comes to who's going to win it, obviously, like I said, Charlotte is probably the number one favorite. I would say Jade is another top favorite. I don't know why people keep saying Io Sky. That girl is literally nowhere to be found when it comes to the title picture, like the main one. I just don't know why people are saying Io Sky. Io Sky's not winning this. But I would have to say it's between Charlotte and Jade. I mean, who else could possibly win it? I mean, Nia Jax, I guess you could say, is like a top contender. I would love to see Bianca win it, although I don't think she would. I'm trying to think, maybe, well, no, Liv Morgan just came off her title reign. So maybe it's between Nia, Jade, and Charlotte? Perhaps? I don't know, but if I actually have to pick somebody, I don't know. It's like I want to pick Charlotte, but I just have this gut feeling that she's not going to win it. What if it's Jade? No, there's no way. Crap. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go Charlotte. We're going to pick the safe route. We're going to say Charlotte because there's no way I'm getting this right or wrong. No, I'm so confused. I'm so conflicted. With the men's rumble, I have a pretty certain winner that I'm picking, but like when it comes to the women's, I actually don't know. And I love how they haven't really announced many women for this rumble, so it leaves surprises for returns, even like legends. I know Michelle McCool, Mickie James, people like them, obviously Nikki Bella, those names have been tossed around for returns. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of fun surprises, probably more than I could even think. Let's move right along into the men's Royal Rumble match. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Now, they announced way more people for this Rumble than they did the women, but let's get into returns. So I think the first person that I would love to see would be Big E, and I know that's kind of random to some people, but you know, with what we've seen with New Day, I don't know, I would love New Day to be in the Rumble and then for him to come out, kind of like a similar situation I described earlier with Jade and Bianca and Naomi. I don't know. I have a feeling that Big E has been cleared for a while, and he just has said he isn't cleared, but we shall see. Now, the next person I predict to return is Brock Lesnar. Now, this might be a bit of a hot take, maybe not. One thing we have to keep in mind is the fact that CM Punk has a favor from Paul Heyman that has yet to be fulfilled, and I wonder if it will be fulfilled at the Royal Rumble. Now, this favor, we don't know what the favor is, but we do know the end result of the favor, and that is that it will get Punk to the main event of WrestleMania. Whether that's winning the Rumble, winning the Chamber, Money in the Bank, I don't even know. Or just slithering his way into the match. I do not know. Now, one thing that I think could be interesting is if the final four include Punk and Roman, and then Paul Heyman comes out and grants that favor for Punk, and out comes Brock Lesnar to get rid of Roman. And then maybe Punk eliminates Brock. I don't know how that would go down. But I don't know. It's just like kind of a messy theory. I've seen lots of things tossed around on the internet. Another person I would love to see is Aleister Black. Now, I actually just made a video on this on Instagram and TikTok the other day about how I would love to see Aleister Black return, and I think he will. I mean, he is written out of the storyline that he was in AEW with the House of Black, and he is no longer with AEW, and something that I think is kind of strange, I actually have two little theories to back this one up. So, one, his wife, Zelina Vega, just got moved to Friday Night SmackDown, and she was a part of the LWO, and usually when somebody's going to move, the faction moves. You know, that means the whole LWO was going to move to SmackDown, but only she moved. The rest stayed on Raw, which I think is very interesting. Now, people think she's going to go back with Andrade, which definitely could happen. But another theory that I think probably supports this a little more is the fact that on Monday Night Raw, which I think would be stupid to split them up, but whatever. On Monday Night Raw, we know that Chad Gable has had a lucha problem with Penta, and he seeked advice from Dominic Mysterio. Obviously, who else better than Dominic? And Dominic basically said that he had the perfect person for him, and he slipped him a piece of paper, and it was somebody's number. And when Chad looked at the number, it seems like he knew what the number was, unless it had their name there. And he smiled, and he goes, "Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go master the dark arts," and literally walked away. And that might not sound like anything to anybody, but if you know, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega own a wrestling school together called the Dark Arts. Hello, that's literally an Easter egg. So what if we get Aleister Black at the Royal Rumble? Or we could get him the following night on Monday Night Raw, and then that's how we continue that storyline with Chad. I don't know. I think it could really be either way. But I think that's somebody who's going to return sooner rather than later. Now, going into NXT, I think somebody who is long overdue to either get called up or just an appearance, because he hasn't had a main roster appearance, I don't think, like in a PLE. And that's Trick Williams. Now, I don't think he'll get called up just yet because he's kind of in a storyline with Obafemi at the moment. But Trick Williams, man, he is star-studded. He is everything you want from a main eventer, truly. He has the look, he has the physical attributes, he has the promo ability, he's the whole package, okay? And I think at some point he'll get drafted up to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown at some point this year. But I think Trick Williams needs to come out. I think he would absolutely dominate in the Rumble. And then, come on, of course, I need to hear 65,000 plus people chanting, "Whoop that Trick" in his entrance, right? Like, hello? Now, kind of like I said earlier with the women, we want, if we're going to pick one person from NXT, it has to be the champion, and that is Obafemi. I mean, similar to Trick, I mean, I think he has everything as well. He would dominate, absolutely, and I think he would be a threat to a lot of people on the main roster, and I would be very intrigued to see that. Now, let's move on into TNA, because I've got quite a few names written down that I think could be quite interesting. So the first one is obviously not just, again, if you pick one person, it's got to be your champion, but also somebody who we've seen in WWE, specifically NXT, multiple times. Say his name and he appears. I'm finally saying it, Joe Hendry. I've made that joke for a while, but Joe Hendry, the TNA champion. Now, I need to hear 65,000 plus people, similar to Trick's entrance. I need to hear everyone scream, "I believe in Joe Hendry," because we all do. You know, I need Joe Hendry to show up. I literally need him to. I just think it would be the most iconic thing, and I think there would be quite a few people that maybe would see him as a threat. Now, speaking of TNA champions, we need to talk about the former TNA champion, and that is Nick Nemeth. Now, unfortunately, he would not show up as Dolph Ziggler just because this isn't a full return. This is just a crossover appearance, if you will. So he's going to show up as Nick Nemeth most likely. But I would love to see him back in the WWE, especially in the Rumble. Now, he has no shot at winning, obviously. I mean, none of these TNA guys do. But, like, just for the fun of it, you know? And speaking of somebody who is just for the fun of it, that I definitely do not think will not, or I don't think they will return, but, like, if they did, I'd scream my head off, and that is Matt Cardona. We have wanted to see him back in the WWE for a fat minute, and obviously, just like I said with Nick Nemeth, he is not going to return as Zack Ryder. Chelsea Green did say in an interview that Zack Ryder is dead. It is now Matt Cardona, and we stand that. So that's going to be very interesting. And then the last two people that, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they'll return on NXT and not at the Royal Rumble, but I know they will be in Indianapolis, and that is the Hardy Boys. So they did announce that they will be at WrestleCon, which is going to be literally like 10 minutes down the road from Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Rumble is going to happen on Saturday. But if you watched my NXT recap from last night, I think it was, at the very end of NXT, there was this graphic that popped up on the screen with typewriter lettering and noises that said WWE transmission, and then it came off and then it said Vengeance Day. And if you guys know, Matt Hardy's old theme song started with that same exact typewriter sound, and I think that would be absolutely incredible to have the Hardys return at Vengeance Day. Now, they still can return at the Royal Rumble. I just think that would take away from the shock of Vengeance Day, but we shall see. Now, somebody else, actually two other people that I would love to see. This is kind of random, but Omos. I should have put him back up at the top of returns. I wasn't thinking straight, but Omos would be incredible. Okay. He has been on the indie circuit for a while, and he actually just dropped his tag team championship. So I'm like, okay, what if Omos comes back at the Rumble? I've always been an Omos girly. I love Omos so much, and I would kill to see him in the Royal Rumble. Do I think he will? Probably not, but you never know. Now, when it comes to debuts, I didn't talk about this with the women because there's nobody that would debut. But for the men, there's one possible human being, and I would kill to see him. He would be debuting from AEW. He is one of my favorites, and that is Ricky Starks. He has also been in the indies for a while, and he's always talked about coming to WWE, and he has a lot of friends in WWE, and I would love to see him at the Royal Rumble. Do I think we're going to see him? No. But again, the Royal Rumble is just a place of literally, I don't know. It's called Royal Rumble, I don't know. That's literally what it is because it's so unpredictable. You literally do not know who's going to show up, even if you think you know. But it's come to that time to predict who I think is going to actually win the whole thing. Now, there are a lot of different people that I think could win the whole thing, lots of top contenders, but at the end of the day, I'm staying true to my colors. And I'm going with CM Punk. I think that CM Punk has to win this. I know John Cena is somebody else who we really would want to win this, but I would like to see CM Punk win this and then Cena win the Chamber. Unless it's vice versa, but I feel like CM Punk has to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know. Maybe that's like slightly my bias coming in just because I love him so much. But I think he has to win this. And I don't know. I would say him or Cena. But let me know your thoughts down below if you're watching on YouTube in the comment section or on Spotify in the comment box. But now that we've got the Rumbles out of the way, let's talk about the two matches left. All right, we've got a ladder match for the WWE Undisputed Championship on the line. Cody Rhodes defending against Kevin Owens. I mean, there's no brainer. It's a no-brainer. Cody's retaining. I mean, as much as they want to build up the fact that Kevin could win, he's literally not going to win. I hope you guys understand that. It's going to be Cody. There's going to be a lot of close calls, I fear, in this match. But in the end, I know Cody's going to win. He is not losing at a freaking Royal Rumble. It's literally just not happening. And then the very last match there is to talk about is probably the one I'm most excited for. I can't say besides the Rumble. Well, yeah, besides the Rumbles. Because the Rumbles are obviously what I'm most excited about. But we've got a 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY defending their tag team championships against the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, you guys know, if you've been watching and listening for a fat minute, that these two are my 2 favorite tag teams, okay? I love both of these tag teams so much. And I would love nothing more than a great match, which I think is what we're going to get. I hope. Now, what's great about this is I'm rooting for both. I mean, I'll be happy either way for whoever wins because I love them both. Now, if I had to predict, I'm gonna say, oh my God, Motor City Machine Guns win? I don't know. I have this inkling. I have literally no evidence to back this up. Unless DIY retains, but then that's kind of boring. I don't know. I'm going to go Motor City Machine Guns on this one. Why not? Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a 5-star review if you did. Don't forget to follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms because I will be in Indianapolis this weekend for the 2025 WWE Royal Rumble, which is going to be insane. So much content ready for you guys. Follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye!